Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Mike King Biz Radio Show with the Hounds of Business. Obviously, I am not Mike Ashbrenner. I'm April Wyatt. I'm part of the Hounds of Business, and I am here to host for Mike. So we have a great show with Tiffany Alexander today, and I'm just going to roll the intro for you. Here we go.
Looks like your business might be in a bit of a pickle. Don't you worry about a thing. You ain't alone in this. You're just a success story waiting to happen. Trust me on that. Every bump in the road is just an opportunity wearing a clever disguise. Welcome to the Hounds of Business community, where we don't just sit around twiddling our thumbs. Nope. We turn those obstacles into mighty fine stepping stones. This here's a place where high-level entrepreneurs and sharp professionals gather to grow their businesses and mindsets, kind of like how a good old gumbo needs the right ingredients to be something special. Ideas thrive here, and collaborations, well, they're as natural as sweet tea on a hot day. Success, it's a journey, and we're fixing to walk that road right beside you. Now, don't forget to follow us on LinkedIn for all the latest tips and insights. We're talking about the kind of wisdom that'll keep you ahead of the game. And while you're at it, head on over to our YouTube channel. We've got ourselves a treasure trove of videos, from expert interviews to webinars, everything you need to stay sharp in this fast-moving world of business. The Hounds of Business community? Well, we ain't just a network, we're a movement. So why not come on and be part of something bigger? Join us today and let's turn your business journey into a real Southern success story. Together, we'll achieve greatness, just like crawfish and singing on a Friday night.
Oh, great. So happy to be here and to have this amazing opportunity to host in here for Mike. Thinking about you, Mike, and your family. Hope all is well. And we have a really good show here today. We're bringing in Tiffany Alexander, and she's going to share something very interesting that I had no idea about how she turned wealth through notes and networking. So I'm going to bring Tiffany up here to the stage. Hello, Tiffany. Welcome.
Hi. Thank you.
Yeah, it's so good to have you here. I really enjoyed our little chat backstage before the show started, and just learning a little bit more about you and everything that you've done in your life. It's pretty incredible, and I'm very excited to have you here to share that with others.
I love it. I'm always eager to share because I want so much for so many people. That's like, how can I tell everyone? So why not here?
Exactly. And so before we really get into the meat of things, let's go back a little bit. And can you just kind of walk us through, right, the moment when you realized like the traditional path wasn't working for you, and when you came to that realization?
I was younger than you would expect, but I actually decided, okay, I'm in California. I'm going to leave California, go to college in Florida and fulfill my dream. This is my dream right here. Aerospace engineer. This is my actual college poster. Dorm room, wall, stable marks and all. And several semesters into my degree, I realized this is not what I wanted to do. Physics is not my thing. I love math. I love the engineering classes, but physics was obscene. And they said, well, you can't stay if you're not going to keep passing physics. So I did what several kids did, just drop out. And I went from job to job to job. And it was at the age of 22, I worked at the airport in Orlando, and late one night, like meaning early morning, 2 a.m. before my 4 a.m. shift, I was watching TV, and all of the seminars back in the day, early 2000s, were, hey, you could do this, do that. And it said, hey, you could go flip houses. And I thought, I've never thought of that. And it said, by the way, you could do it no money down. Sign me up because I fit the bucket. And that was what I ended up going to this seminar. I went, and it was so expensive that I couldn't afford it. And my life changed because the people that were hosting the event several weeks later went through my line at the airport, and they said, wait, how come you didn't buy? I'm like, I can't afford it. I work at the airport. And they said, but we like your style. We like where you're at. Like, would you ever kind of come work with us and for us? And I said, yes, how? And it was several months fast forward. I went through the process and I actually got to go and join that company and then take their company mandatory training to learn to invest in houses. So really, I transitioned from a
Ah,
job to another job, but they light the fire under you as an entrepreneur to say, "Go flip houses, Tiff. Like, this is why you're here. This is what it's all about." And it
oh,
was really me learning all of the processes through the crash. So I'm grateful that I didn't start loading up on property right before the crash. It was really through it, learning all the curves of everybody else sort of failing miserably. And right as everything was like on its biggest amount of on sale in 2009 was when I really started to buy property. And that was where the light clicked, on, and it was like, wow, I did this once. I think I could do this process all over again. I think I could just be a landlord. I think I could go flip houses, and then you find one, you find another, um you show up, right? And the people that were behind me the whole time were these like gurus on TV saying, "Hey, of course you can do this. Do it like I did it, and here's how I'm going to do it with no money down." And that's the way it needed to happen. And banks were still lending if you could get creative. And that was when I realized, well, this is it. Like this provides supplementary and then eventual all of the income that I needed for myself and my business and eventually my family I started. So that's where it all turned around was at 22 for me, but mid 20s when I first actually started buying real estate for myself to keep it as a landlord.
yeah, and I love how you pivoted, right? Even though the aerospace engineering, it's still a love. I can see that excitement, right, as you talk about it. And it's more of what can I do and still be connected to aircraft. And then this led you to the real estate world. Yeah.
Oh, yes. And I
So,
mean, I miss that, but all of my friends that graduated, right? They're all pilots and engineers, and so I feel connected to the space, but I thought to myself, if I'm gonna get to space, it's probably not because 'cause I'm gonna be the engineer on the rocket ship, it's gonna be because 'cause I'm gonna pay someone a lot of money to send me up there, and I'm kind of okay with that. So that's my mission at this point.
that would be amazing, and it can still happen. It can still
Yes.
happen
It's
with.
even, like, more now. It's, like, really capable. Just pay a few guys to go up there.
For sure. And I just want to do a shout out for all the amazing hounds that are coming in here for that to support us both. We have Homer, we have Baz, as you've met Baz. We just talked about you, Baz. I think that your ears were probably burning. And of course, Mike is here. And he says that Deborah, Claudia, let me see here, Kim and Jake. Are here also with us. So wonderful. Thank you for your
Nice.
support. And without the hounds, I wouldn't be here either.
Yeah.
And so, and meeting you, Tiffany, too, and hearing this amazing story, it really is. And so, was there ever a moment besides the pivot, right, from the aerospace engineering into what you're doing now? Have you ever self-doubted yourself? Maybe felt like
Constantly.
it wasn't going to work out?
Let's just say that little voice in your head shows up a lot, like a lot as an entrepreneur from the very beginning all the way to currently today, which is why you need to have people like Baz in your corner to be like, give him a name and tell him to go sit in the corner, right? Like those are just the things that happen because as an entrepreneur, you're facing so many no's that occasionally when you get a yes, it's like, "Wait a minute, what do I do now?" When you've been so beaten down probably by the no's, right? It's just, yes, the little voice in my head fights with me constantly, but it's one of these things that you keep training yourself with more books and more people, and you surround yourself with the right people that are also facing the struggle of being a business owner, someone who's invented something or pressing forward for something that isn't just the regular pace that the world told me to do. The world told me that you need to go get a job and just show up for them for the rest of your life. And I thought, there's got to be something more. I've always wanted more, and I want to provide more and be more. And I feel like I'm filling that out now, but I still want more, and I want to be more, and I want to give more to people. So it's just this constant reinvention of yourself.
Yeah, that's so true, isn't it? That's what we're doing is we're reinventing ourselves, and as we're doing that, we're discovering more about ourselves and our capabilities. And so this shift, right, from flipping houses to, and please, for me too, I know you already explained it to me, but these notes that you're talking about, right? This wealth of the notes that you've learned and networking with that. How did that shift from the real estate into the notes?
Oh, this
And
is
what is that exactly?
I get obviously super excited about all of this stuff. I thought finally years into flipping and holding, and at one point I had, a certain amount of rentals, and I thought, this is it. I know finally what I want to be when I grow up. But 12 years into that, I was introduced to someone that said, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" We're like the experts in the back of the room on a house flipping seminar. And he said, "I buy paper." And I thought, "Excuse me, what?" And he said, "Hey, I bet you're a tired landlord." What? Like I'm here as the person, like, living the dream of what we're trying to sell everybody for an event, and he changed my perspective, and that's actually where my world got turned upside down, understanding that you could do flips, and you could do holds, and you could do tax liens and deeds and Airbnbs and single family and commercial, but really, where does all that world run if you aren't paying cash for it? It's in the paper, and he said, "That's when you need to
Mm.
graduate up out of it." Like, if you want to be in control of all this but not have to own it, you could actually be in control of the documentation. And that's exactly what it is. So when you go and you decide to buy property, because quite honestly, you can leverage your dollars by getting loans on this stuff and getting a stronger rate of return by borrowing from regular people, private people, institutional, regular banks. And when you originate that paper, you sign this big fat stack of closing paperwork at the dotted line on the closing table. And then what happens? That documentation gets sent out to your bank, and the banks hang on to it for a little while, but then they sell it. You get a letter saying, "Hey, don't pay Chase, pay Bank of America. Hey, don't pay Bank of America, pay Carrington. Hey, don't pay Carrington, pay Mr. Cooper." You guys are all getting these letters no matter what. I don't care what lender you have, they sell your paper, and this is its own industry. And in that, you have to understand that you actually have access too if you know the right people. And this person said, "Yeah, I have access. Do you want to do that?" He had to show me and prove to me with the math because I didn't believe him, but he was right. He's like, "Hey, listen, you can just be in charge of this loan and receive the payments from the loan because they're paying PITI, payments, interest, taxes, and insurance. The taxes and insurance are going to go to the tax and insurance people, but the payment and the interest is going to go back to the lender. And you can actually have rent coming in like you're a landlord, but never have to deal with the property." Because think about it. When you have your loan for your property, and your toilet starts leaking, do you call your bank to complain?
I
No.
know.
You're the homeowner. You call a plumber or you do something, to figure out how to fix it because it's your asset, it's your property. My asset is the loan, and the collateral is the property because you sign away that, "Hey, if I don't pay this house, the bank gets to keep the property." And I don't want people to do that. So I'm like a lender with a heart. But that shifted everything for me from saying, "I'm going to flip houses for the rest of my life." Or when I introduce myself as a real estate investor, they think, "Oh, yeah, she owns property or she flips houses, right? Or she something." I'm like, "No, I'm a real estate investor that does." It's like the highest level I think of being a real estate investor is just owning the paper. I'm almost in the loan industry now, the ability, but occasionally when the loans you buy them in good status or bad status, like it's performing or they call it non-performing, I actually sometimes come into the property. So I still am in the real estate space when someone just doesn't want the house or they have to have it foreclosed on. I do end up with the houses occasionally or sometimes on purpose, and that's its own, like, challenging system, but it's actually way, way less headache than having all the tenants that I've had in my lifetime.
Wow, I learned so much in just the last 10 minutes. That is incredible. Incredible. That is an amazing, and I'm glad that you're kind of letting the cat out of the bag, right? And sharing all these information about the notes and making money and collaborating with people to do that. That's really, I mean, it's a game changer. My mind is just kind of blown. I'm just sitting here going, wow, that's incredible, Tiffany. And also, since we just have this short 30-minute show, I also need to do a shout out to our sponsor, to Mike King Biz Radio, and to the Hounds of Business for really collaborating, making this happen. So that way we can bring forward these heart centered people such as Tiffany here. So if you're interested to learn more, please reach out through LinkedIn or YouTube and connect with the Hounds of Business so we can collaborate, right? Co-create together about things. And I've been on the show too, and it's always a lot of fun and engagement. So, yeah, thank you, Tiffany, for sharing that about the notes. That is very enlightening. I'm serious. I have no idea about banking or anything of that aspect. But now, as we're diving in a little deeper, I'm just curious about, what and you already alluded to it a little bit, right? What mindset shifts did you have to take in order to step into this role, right? Instead of just flipping houses, now you're managing these notes. Now you're collaborating with others, and that's kind of a big responsibility, isn't it?
It is, and it was a mindset shift for sure, but actually it was a little bit trying to decide, "Hey, what do I do with my time since I'm no longer putting out the fires of the actual tenants at this point?" So when you have a lot of tenants and they're all over the country, so many things can go wrong. So many things
Mhm.
can so many management companies and insurance policies when stuff gets real, real crazy, or the scenarios. And when I'm trying to have a heart as a landlord, you can only have a heart so deep before you're like, you're not paying the bills, which end up needing to pay my bills. So when I moved to paper, there's just like a different pace about it. It's really you trying to remember they only pay their mortgage once a month and it's a hands-off asset. So if you can understand that, wow, I could have all of the time that I've gained back by not having to go keep eyes on my tenant or fix something that's broken in the middle of the night, uh, being able to shift my ability to say, wow, how many people can I bring into this space with me? Um, how many moments can I do something different with the time that I have? And then how do I either stay quiet or get louder for what it is that I know now? Because when I was taught what I know in this space, they sort of tricked me. They said, like, hey, yeah, you can go do notes. Go ahead and Google it. And I thought, I'm smart. I can do this. So I Googled my heart out to figure out how I was going to go buy all of the notes that I wanted to own so incredibly. And I couldn't find anything. Could you imagine typing in, "How do I buy a note?" They're gonna say, "Do you want a sticky pad? Do you want a notepad?
Exactly.
Do you need a note today? Do you want a board?" Like, there it's such like a vague space in a
Mhm.
term to be able to say, "Hey, listen, I wanna buy a mortgage that's been discounted and it's in a first lien position." Even if you typed in all the perfect keywords, there's nothing that comes up. So this space really only is connections. It really is who you know. And the thing is, the gentleman that introduced me to it, he let me go Google my heart out. And I finally came back to him exhausted. Like, how do I find these? You told me they're available. You told me they're lucrative. You told me they're a thing. I want them. How do I find them? And he said, through me. It really
Ah.
I like that he let me wear myself out and knowing that I know what I know and I know how to go conquer real estate deal after real estate deal, and he's like, "You can't in this space. You need to know people, you
Mhm.
know how to go find them." Their website's not even, like, findable on Google, you just need to type it in and go find them, and once you get into that network of people, you find out who are the good guys, who are the bad guys, but you also find out how serious they are. This isn't like, "Oh, let me go write an offer and I'm gonna back out because I just didn't like the color of the carpet." This is like you show up and you're committed. It's black or white. And if you make too many critical errors or just willy-nilly errors, they blacklist you. So you almost need
Mhm.
to have this person who's like a parent over you to bring you into the space cautiously and protectively to say, "All right, let me let you flourish under me through me and let you graduate kind of out of learning this space to then go invest with the big boys." So I always have so much to say about this space, but what you need is almost a person. You gotta have a guy. You
Mm.
gotta know a guy. And if you need to know a guy, I can be your guy, right? If you don't like me, I'll give you more of my guys. Like, we have access to all of the notes in the space, and quite a few that are just quiet. There are
Mm.
a couple places to find it, but I have this aspiration of building my own outside of the space of what there is in existence right now. Because if you're thinking, Tiff, I want to go buy my own paper, well, you'd have to find it through someone, through someone, through someone. And what I'd like to do is I'm building this site right now so that people can come to me and I can be like the Amazon of notes. So they can come find access to all of the supplies from me and I can teach them how to do it. And they can just click on buy on the ones that they want after it's been vetted from me. And I know I've sort of let you free on the playground in a safe manner with the fences and the guardrails up a little bit still.
Oh, and you alluded to something, and Boz is tuning in. He's chiming in exactly the relationship. So you even said a few times, there's some because you're heart centered, right? You really care about the people that you're working with, or when you're working in real estate before the notes, and you had that heart centered empathy for them, really leaning with your heart, leading with that, and building those relationships, creating that they know you, they like you, and then they trust you, right? Those three aspects of the relationship. Tell us a little bit more about that, and how that's impacted you, and going into the next phase of this fund that you created. So starting with that relationships, and then segueing into that.
I love this. It just keeps growing and growing. And so it's coming up on like 8, 9 years now that I've been in the note space. So I graduated out of flips and holds and decided just to go all paper. And when people still come to you and say, "Hey, Tiff, let's finally flip a house or let's do a deal together," I'm like, I don't do that anymore. I do paper. So naturally, I was bringing people to the industry just that were kind of connected to me. But at the same time, I was still, for lack of a better way to phrase it, I was just being quiet about what I do. When you're a landlord, you don't have to have a website. You don't have to have a logo. You don't have to have anything fancy, employees. I just owned property. The management took care of it, or I took care of it, and that was it. The rents, cash flows came in. But now, owning notes, there's so much more opportunity for people to know who I know and get assets through me. My mentors said, "Tiff, stop being quiet. Please tell people what you do. Allow them to invest with you in a more public manner. Just shout and tell people what it is that you're up to." And one of my original mentors that I met 19 years ago, he said, "Do me a favor, Tiff, fly out to Puerto Rico, come open a fund. I've done it 50 times. You'll be my 51st one. Copy paste my model and allow people to do deals with you in a manner that's like sort of protected by the government." Like I am thoroughly watched by the Securities Exchange Commission. By having a fund and opening that up, I actually allow people in this public manner to come and do deals with me. And even it's like a play on words for my company name, because I named my company with my business partner Aspen Sage, which is like the I've never been to Aspen, but it's like the peak, high, high mountain of the sage, of all the wisdom of the years of me doing this and the people that I have access to. And so it's like the highest level of everything that I could know that I want to share with you and I want you to be involved in. And so when the fund got opened, just plus or minus 2 years ago, I now allow people to come in with me and sit in my nest. Right? Like
Mm.
I'm like the mother that is taking you under my wing, and I want you to know, hey, live vicariously through me. Let me direct where all the investments are going to go, and you can sit safely with me, under me, at a consistent, steady return. And so it's my duty now to tell everybody, come invest with me. This is it. Like if you're thinking, I want to sit on something low risk and stop the roller coaster ride of sitting in the
Mm.
stock market, or even if you're sitting on an old 401k that you haven't rolled over from a company, let me help you do all that. I have all the right people. Think about this, all the wisdom of all the people. It's not me that's going to take all the credit for all this. It's all of the people I've been a creator and a connector of, which is actually what led me to my next adventure when I opened the fund, I realized, oh my gosh, I haven't connected properly with everybody. I'm abundant and I give, but I hadn't said, like, stay with me. Let's go on this ride together. Who do you need to know, with open arms? And I end up joining a mastermind that said, hey, here's how you learn how to network better. And that was a year and a half ago now. And probably the last year, set out with this complete intentional manner of everybody that I meet with, not just saying, how can I help you? Here's what I have available, but here's who I have available. Who do you
Mm,
need to know? Can I interview you? And that's when my podcast was born, December of 2024, to say, like, you are so cool. How do I bring you on my show? I didn't even know this existed. I didn't know how B2B works. I didn't know how these companies run and thrive, and the employee versus, like, employer and the owner relationship of it all. And I want to share the world with all of
mm.
these cool people that I've met. And at the same time, I need them all to go crush it. I need you guys to all go get your next client, maybe from me, or your next deal, or your next contract. Because at the end of the day, I want you to say, Tiff, I'm sitting on all this money, help me invest it. And that way I can be one of many people that can help you even greater manner diversify your portfolio with what it is that I'm doing. And just
Mm.
know, even if the world got real, real weird, the assets that I'm involved in get even stronger, because we have
Ah,
the ability to get into stuff at a discount that you wouldn't even imagine. And my favorite question is, people say, "Well, Tiff, why would you want to get into something and then they stop paying?" It's like, well, because the banks sell it off at a discount because you've been paying so long, that front loaded rate and
oh,
interest, that they have the room to discount it and they want to do something else. I don't know
okay.
why occasionally they want to sell, but they want to sell and I'm ready to buy when they are ready to sell.
Exactly, exactly. I mean, it just makes sense. It makes perfect sense. So who is the Sage Fund? Who who is your ideal client, or anybody that's curious about it? What who are you looking for to get into your Sage Fund, to be a is it a membership? Is it, what does that look like? That's what I'm trying to
So
say.
simple. It's so simple, meaning I have a unique proposition, meaning I won't charge you any fees whatsoever. Come hang out with me, come learn through me. If you want to invest with me, by all means, come have a chat, because the more analytical you are, the more I can tell you what it is that we're doing. And then you're probably going to have this level of trust you have to establish with me to say, all right, I want to do what you're doing. I don't have the ability to. And quite frankly, I don't want to deal with it. I don't want another tenant. I don't want another flip house. I don't even want to deal with what's in the stock market right now, but I need to allocate something in a stronger return than what I'm getting right now. And quite honestly, when I opened this fund up, I was getting like a 0.25 in my savings account. And so when I hear about a 6%, an 8, a 10% return, I'm like, those are killer returns to just sit on something in your savings account. Let me sit on it with those incredible returns for you, with no fees, no acquisition
No
management,
fees? What?
nothing
Say that
whatsoever.
again.
Yeah, no fees. So, like, come with
There's
me
always a fee somewhere. We're always
somewhere.
paying that
Yes.
extra fee.
Well, the deal is, I know what I'm doing. I've been doing it for so long. This is what I do for a living. This is my outside of the fund portfolio, and now I do it within the fund. So the fund, actually, whoever contributes into it, you can actually just count on it, plug it into a calculator. Hey, Tiff's going to pay me 8%. Fantastic. I love it. Well, punch
Ah,
it into the calculator, divide it by 2. You're going to get a biannual payout. You can count on it for cash flow. You can count on it for consistency. You can
yes.
count on it no matter what the market does, because we buy right in everything that we do,
Ah,
and how I pay myself is I get to keep the rest. So I'm gonna make sure you get a consistent safe return, and I'm gonna pay myself above and beyond after you've been paid. So you don't have to worry
that's
about this.
amazing. That is just amazing, Tiffany. I'm so excited. Seriously, I'm excited for anybody who's interested in this, and I'm excited for myself because I'm curious also. Um, and just final thoughts, because we do have just a few minutes left. What's one truth that you've learned that you wish more people would understand more about wealth?
Hmm. This is gonna sound crazy, but, like, you don't know what you don't know. Meaning, like, if you're thinking, "I've got this. I know my guy's got this." If you aren't constantly seeking out new things or new thoughts or new ideas, not to jump on them immediately, but to chew on them and to simmer on them, You don't know that I have people in my back pocket that I can get you this return, this return, this return. I just happen to be sitting on a consistent low risks, safer than usual than the stock market type return. But if you want to diversify, you have to go seek out what's available in the class of how much you want to sit on. Meaning, I've seen stuff all the way down to like a few $1,000s. If you just want to like banter back and forth and I can tell you what to do, but also I come from this space of like no money down. So if you're like, I can't even talk to Tiffany, yes, you can. I started all of this without any money whatsoever. And I can be your source of hope, your source of encouragement. I can be
Uh,
planting seeds with you to know what you want to do when you're there, or how to
yes.
leverage being able to do this without any money whatsoever. I just happen to be in a spot right now where the people who are already sitting on money, I want to sit on it for you.
Just like those eggs you were talking about. Let's see what investments hatch. And speaking of hatching, I think I have Mike here. Mike, are you with us? I see
He said,
that you're
ignore me for
muted.
a second. Yeah.
He said he's muted.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Maybe he's just hanging out here, but we see you, Mike. We know that you're here with us. Yes?
No, I'm muted. I just came to.
We see you, Mike. We know that you're here with us.
Oh, good.
Okay, so he's just here supporting us. And thank you. Thank you so much, Tiffany. This was very informative. I'm so excited about what I've learned from you today. And everyone that's here, I hope that you reach out to Tiffany. What is your contact information, Tiffany, before we go?
Well, my favorite way, honestly, I hang out on LinkedIn quite often. So you can find me, Tiffany Alexander. And if you can't, it's like /Thankful Inc., one of my company names. Or you can find me on YouTube, Aspen Sage Fund. I put out a lot of content videos, some really cute 4-minute cartoons that explain more about the note space. If you're like, I have no idea what she's talking about, okay, go YouTube, Aspen Sage Fund. And by all means, if you want to hear the people that I get to interview that I really love promoting, my YouTube channel for my podcast is Unveiling Journeys. And you can find my phone number and my calendar easily everywhere if you take just a few seconds to Google it.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Tiffany. Thank you, everyone who hung out with us, all the great comments and support. And also thank you to Mike King Biz Radio. And you will see Mike next week. Bye.
Bye.
Thank y'all for stopping by. Be sure to follow, share, and like, and send me a message if you had fun today. Y'all come back now.